Imagine, if you will, in a blink of an eye, the lights go out and our world is thrown back to the 1850s. What are you going to do when the lights go out? Hey everybody, I'm Bill, the Hill Country Prepper, and I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. This past weekend, Energy Secretary Granholm was speaking, I believe, on CNN on one of the Sunday talk shows, and she had stated that our enemies are capable of shutting down the U.S. electrical grid. Now think about that for a minute. What would happen if there was a major cyber attack on the U.S. electric grid? Let's suppose for a minute that the Texas power grid was attacked by malware and went down, went completely dark. Do you realize all of the modern conveniences that we take for granted? Not just the lights, but also everything that electrical power contributes to. Now sure, the lights would go out and you'd have no lights, but you'd also have no way of pumping water to your house because the electric pumps in most water systems run on electricity. Your gas, natural gas supply to your house would also go out. So you would not be able to use your gas range. You would not be able, certainly, to use your electric range. So you would not be able to cook food. When the power goes out, so do the cell towers. So you will not have phone service. Internet, you can forget about that. And there's a story breaking today that there's been a major worldwide outage of many websites. Now there's still a lot of investigations going on because this is just announced this morning that a lot of websites around the world have gone dark, have slowed down, they've lost their internet. These include mostly media sites like Reddit, Spotify, I think HBO Max is another one, and I believe also the UK government was also affected. Now they don't know if this was caused by malware or if it was just some type of software glitch, but the websites have gone down. And this is a serious matter because what most people do when something happens in their world, the first thing they do is pick up their smartphone and try to look for information on the internet. Well, you're not going to have cell service, you're not going to have internet, because when the grid goes down, all that stuff goes dark. So it's real important for you to give some consideration as to what would you do when the power goes out. Would you be able to have some alternative lighting sources, such as solar lights or something like that? Would you be able to prepare food? Do you have enough propane stored up to where you could run your cook stove? Do you even have firewood if you had to resort to cooking over an open fire? Would you be able to do that? Water, like I said, when the power goes out, and we saw this here in Texas during the polar vortex event back in February, when the power went out, the water pump stopped working, and then you have the risk of contaminated water. Besides that, you don't have pressure, so they're not able to pump the water to your house. And you can forget about the natural gas coming into your house because it runs on electric pumps as well. Now, when it comes to fuel storage, and let me just add this right now and take me real serious on this. If you live in Texas, especially in Central Texas, West Texas, good recommendation right now is you need to go out and you need to top off your tanks in your vehicles. And if you've got any gas cans laying around, I would suggest you go and top those off as well so that you've got ample supply of fuel for your vehicles. Go top off your vehicles, go top off your gas tanks, do that right now. Another thing, that when the power goes out, all of those pumps at the filling stations and the gas stations, those all run on electricity. So they may have fuel in their underground storage tanks, but they don't have the means to get them to the pump to pump them into your vehicle because they all run on electricity. So take this real serious. Go top off your tanks. Think about what you're going to do if the lights go out. Hey guys, if you're getting information out of this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up and a like? And if you're not a subscriber yet, why not? Subscribe right now. And if you hit that notification bell, you get notified each and every time I upload some new content. So do that right now. Guys, I want you to be thinking about what's going on in the world. Malware attacks happen all the time. Hundreds of times a day against various structures, whether it be the financial system. We saw what happened with the Colonial Pipeline. We saw what happened when the JBS affected, when they lost their means of producing meat, the food shortages. A lot of things to think about. Now, another comment that Secretary Granholm had made when she was speaking on CNN, she said that it's time for us to up our game. And I want to reiterate that. Now, she was speaking more along the lines of upping our game on cybersecurity, but you need to up your game. Here's a little test if you want to try this. Don't use anything that relies upon electricity for a day. Don't turn on the lights, don't turn on your stove, don't turn on your faucet, don't use your phone, don't use your computers. Imagine for a day, how would you survive? How would you cope? Would you be able? Would you be able to make it through just one day? Would you be able to make it through a weekend? Imagine. No electricity, no fuel for a day. And that'll show you how prepared you actually are. You'll have to learn water filtration. You'll have to learn alternative heating sources, alternative cooking sources, communications, even transportation, because if there is an attack that brings down the grid, eventually you're going to run out of gasoline and diesel in your vehicles. You're going to run out of gasoline and diesel and propane and natural gas for your power generators. That will run out, and that will run out probably in about a week. I don't know how long you can go, how much you have stored up, but it will be gone, and you will be on foot or riding a bicycle. You'll be getting around some other way. This is a serious deal and something that we all need to be thinking about, because this is a real deal. Like Secretary Granholm said, it's time to up our game, and we need to do it, because there's not enough alternative energy sources in this country. When the power goes out, refineries go out. If there's an attack on the Texas grid, which I think there very well could be, because we saw in February that ERCOT was not prepared for the winter freeze. And I can guarantee you they haven't done anything to bolster their equipment, because that all cost money. And they're not prepared. They're not prepared for a cyber attack, guarantee you. If the Texas grid goes down, a lot of the refineries in Texas, and the refineries in Texas supply a lot of fuel for the rest of the country. All that gasoline that was in the Colonial Pipeline, that came from Texas mostly, majority of it. Some of it came from Louisiana, but a lot of it came out of Houston. So if the power goes down and the refineries don't have cogeneration plants, they're going down as well, because they can't run the units. So there will be no gasoline. There will be a fuel shortage. And like I said earlier, if you live in Central Texas, West Texas, trust me, go out and top off your tanks. The price of fuel is going to go up here very, very soon. Guys, I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not trying to put fear into anybody. I'm not trying to cause a panic. But I do want you to be informed. And if you have the facts and you know what's going on, then you can be prepared for whatever might be coming down the way. This is real important. Times are getting bad. Cyber attacks are happening all the time. Websites are being attacked. Financial institutions are being hacked. Our food supply is being hacked. Infrastructure is being hacked. It's just a matter of time before there's going to be a major, major problem. So I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. Thanks, guys. You have a blessed day.